I still remember that night as if it were yesterday. The air was thick with the stench of blood and burning wood, and the screams, oh, the screams, they haunt me even now. My name is Aiko, and I was just a girl of 12 when the demons came to our village. But I am not here to tell you about the horrors I witnessed. I am here to tell you about the man who saved us all, the man who moved like the wind and struck like lightning. The man they call Yoriichi Tsugikuni. It began like any other night. The moon hung high in the sky, casting its pale light over our humble village. I was helping my mother prepare dinner when the first scream tore through the silence. It was a sound so full of terror that it froze the blood in my veins. My father rushed to the door, his face pale as he peered outside. "Stay here," he said, his voice trembling. "Lock the door and don't open it for anyone." But before he could step outside, the door was ripped from its hinges. A demon stood there, its eyes glowing like embers and its mouth twisted into a grotesque smile. It was tall, with skin as pale as death and claws that gleamed like knives. My father tried to fight it, but he was no match for the monster. It tore through him as if he were made of paper, and I watched in horror as my father's lifeless body fell to the ground. My mother screamed, pulling me and my younger brother, Haru, toward the back of the house. But the demon was faster. It lunged at us, its claws extended, ready to tear us apart. I closed my eyes, clutching Haru to my chest, bracing for the end. But instead of pain, there was a sudden gust of wind, and the demon's laughter turned into a gurgling scream. When I opened my eyes, I saw him. A man clad in a black and green checkered hari, his sword gleaming under the pale light of the moon. His presence was calm yet overwhelming, like the stillness before a storm. His eyes, a piercing shade of crimson, glowed with an otherworldly intensity. This was Yoriichi Tsugikuni, the legendary demon slayer. The demon staggered back, clutching its throat as black blood spilled from the wound. "Who are you?" it snarled, its voice trembling with rage and fear. Yoriichi didn't respond. He moved with a grace that seemed almost inhuman, his sword slicing through the air in a blur of motion. The demon lunged at him, its claws aimed at his throat. But Yoriichi was faster. His blade arced through the night, and the demon's head tumbled to the ground before its body even realized it was dead. But the fight was far from over. From the shadows, more demons emerged, their eyes gleaming with malice. They surrounded Yoriichi, their laughter echoing through the night. "You're strong," one of them hissed, its voice dripping with venom. "But you're outnumbered. You can't save them all." Yoriichi's gaze never wavered. He took a deep breath, his body radiating an aura of calm determination. The demons lunged at him simultaneously, their claws and fangs bared. But Yoriichi moved like the wind, his sword a blur of light as he danced between them. Each swing of his blade was precise, each strike fatal. The demons fell one by one, their screams filling the night before being silenced forever. One demon, faster than the rest, managed to graze Yoriichi's arm with its claws. Blood dripped from the wound, but Yoriichi didn't flinch. He turned to face the demon, his eyes blazing with an intensity that made even the monster hesitate. "You will harm no one else," Yoriichi said, his voice low and steady. The demon snarled, lunging at him with all its might. But Yoriichi was ready. His sword moved faster than the eye could follow, and the demon's head was severed before it could even react. Its body disintegrated into ash, carried away by the night wind. But the demons were not done yet. From the shadows, a massive demon emerged, its body covered in grotesque, pulsating veins. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and its voice was a deep, guttural growl. "You think you can defeat me, human?" it roared. "I am the embodiment of fear itself." The demon unleashed its blood demon art, and the ground beneath us began to tremble. Dark, shadowy tendrils erupted from the earth, writhing and twisting like serpents. They lashed out at Yoriichi, but he moved with an almost supernatural speed, dodging each attack with ease. "Breath of the sun, first form," Yoriichi murmured, his voice calm and steady. His sword glowed with a fiery hue as he executed a series of rapid, precise strikes. The shadowy tendrils were severed, disintegrating into nothingness. The demon roared in fury, its body contorting and growing larger. "You cannot defeat me," it bellowed. "I am invincible." Yoriichi's expression remained calm. He took a deep breath, his body radiating an aura of calm determination. "Breath of the sun, second form," he said, his voice low and steady. His sword moved in a blinding arc, and the demon's massive arm was severed cleanly at the shoulder. The demon screamed in pain, its body writhing as it tried to regenerate. But Yoriichi was relentless. "Breath of the sun, third form," he said, his voice filled with an unshakable resolve. His sword moved in a series of rapid, precise strikes, each one cutting through the demon's flesh like a hot knife through butter. The demon's body began to disintegrate, its screams filling the night before being silenced forever. Yoriichi sheathed his sword and turned to us, his crimson eyes softening as they met mine. "Are you hurt?" he asked, his voice gentle yet commanding. I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "Thank you," I stammered, clutching Haru tightly. "You saved us." Yoriichi knelt before us, placing a hand on my shoulder. His touch was warm, reassuring. "You're safe now," he said. "But you must be strong. The world is cruel, but there are still those who fight to protect it." I nodded, though I didn't fully understand his words at the time. All I knew was that this man, this hero, had saved us from a fate worse than death. As he stood and walked away, his figure disappearing into the night, I felt a spark of hope ignite within me. Years have passed since that night. I am now a mother, with a loving husband and 2 beautiful children. My brother Haru has grown into a strong and kind man, and we have built a life filled with love and happiness. But I have never forgotten the man who saved us, the man who gave us a chance to live. Every night, as I tuck my children into bed and kiss them goodnight, I think of Yoriichi Tsugikuni. I think of the way he moved, the way he fought, the way he saved us without a second thought. I am filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude, not just for my life, but for the lives of my children and the future they will have. For Yoriichi Tsugikuni was more than a hero. He was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, the light of the moon could guide us to safety. And though I may never see him again, I will carry his memory in my heart, always.